it might as well be just as fine like this. And I don't know how in different countries, in different situations it was in the history. I always wanted, lately I wanted to channel some second or first world war, somebody who has fight the World War First or Second, just to have a story. How was it? What did you do? How was it? How did you experience all this, and etc. But the idea just came yesterday, so I haven't tried that yet. But I did try to think about other things. I did try to think about and share some other things. First of all, to start all this, I have come to a conclusion that I watched yesterday. I had nothing to do. I decided to watch some gurus. Who was talking about, well, I just wrote the Samsara because all I see around is the Samsara. What I remember from channeling a spiritual master, one of the spiritual masters, like, I don't know which year was it, maybe some kind of Tibetan master or something, in a short, he was really short in his height. And well, he said that in the normal life, I mean like city life, I mean like ordinary human's life, like unawakened human's life, it's called samsara. It's called like a wheel that spins and always does something without any progress or point to it. It's like pointless activities. I mean like you, as I understood it, you would be having relationship, arguing in relationship, going shopping, coming back, having kids, and arguing about politics, arguing about life, about cars, about service, about achievements, about everything. Just doing something. And these things, it's basically samsara. There will always be something going on. There will always be something pointless going on that we as humans, like who me to say we as humans, right? But the humans, the ongoings, what is happening, like storm, rain, winter, summer, storm, rain, winter, summer, is just ongoing, the same thing happening over and over and over again. So I remember this story from the spiritual channeling, the spiritual master channeling. I remember this story. I remember his story when I was visiting a friend, and he just bought a really old house, like a country house, and there was a newspaper. I don't remember which year was it, but while I see it, in my opinion, it was like some 40 to 60 years. I mean like something printed, not anyway, an old newspaper, and there was the same things written over and over again. Why did I vote? Why did this politician do this? Why did he do this? Why? And I had a feeling, and my kids, and my life, and taxes, and something, all exactly the same as we have it nowadays, just slightly different. Just slightly different. The same story in a different book. The same story in different colors, you would say. So at that moment you ask yourself, this thing is like happening over and over and over again. Do you really want to spend time on it? Do you really want to waste your time on it? Because it's happening. It has happened. It will be happening, and it will happen, and is happening, always, and always. So, are those things really worth even thinking about? Are those things even worth paying attention to? So, and you get to a point where this Muji or Sadhguru or some maybe channeling beings are telling that self, I mean like realize yourself, realize your true natural self, like Enrico is selling true self. I mean I don't know how to translate in English correctly. It'll be like true natural self or a true higher state or your true bliss state or your true joy state. I mean like in Latin they have different words to it. So are those things really worth paying attention to? Because those things will not give you any pleasure, any fulfillment in life. There will be like maybe a physical or mental fulfillment, like I mean like somebody wants to get a new car or something, or a house, whatever. He has this idea in his mind, and it's going and it's going and it's going and achieving, and then you have it, and now you have it. And then maybe you're not satisfied, or you're satisfied with something, or maybe not satisfied enough, and then you create a new goal and a new goal, and you somehow within these mind states, within these situations, forget about the self. You're in this movement, treadmill movement, and you forget about the self. Now, within these situations, within this lifetime, I would say, if you find joy in doing those things, if you find joy and excitement in doing those things, there's nothing bad to it. It's completely fine. But if you somehow feel lack, okay, you're doing, but you still feel lack of everything, you still feel lack, but there is something there. I mean, like, you're doing all those different things, going to the job, back, driving, but there is something there. There is something there that is aware of something, that is paying attention to. I mean, like, you are feeling it, but you don't know how to describe it. I mean, like, you feel it, but you don't know how to describe it. So it means like the self is getting aware of itself. I mean, like, you are getting aware of the self. You're starting to realize the self. At that moment, that situation, you're becoming self-aware. And the more you become self-aware, the more you start to, let's say, change yourself. You start to finding fulfillments in completely different scenarios, different situations. And then again, another thing is that, especially when Enrico is telling, that situations don't have a built-in meaning. I mean, like, if you watch politics or television or listen to other things, maybe some kind of a spiritual program says something will be bad, and it doesn't matter what you listen, you maybe start feeling bad or not good enough, or just feeling like disappointed in the life itself. So at that moment, if you become self-aware or more self-aware, you become realize that actually it's a matter of choice that you choose. It's just a matter of choice whether that situation is good or bad, or how you feel yourself in that situation. So, in simple words, the way you feel against that situation is just a choice. Whether you feel guilty, sad, disappointed, it's just your choice. The more self-aware you become, the more you realize that you have a choice upon things. Now, okay, there are situations as maybe wars or maybe some other things that you would say, oh my God, that's terribly wrong. That's terribly wrong. That's like so sad and wrong and not in a high vibration and so on. I think like this. But we as, or you as, or I as soul, we have come here to experience unconditionalness. So meaning we don't condition the situation. We try to become more the self we are. We try to become more aware of the self, meaning that also more spiritually awakened. And spiritual awakening does not involve you classifying this life. This life is always rain, summer, winter, storm, peaceful, lovely time, horrible times, terrible times. It's a mixture of all. It's a balance between everything. It's like ongoing things and pointless things maybe sometimes. You cannot classify yourself. Oh my God, I feel so very good. Oh my God, I feel very bad. You cannot classify because there are so many things ongoing, so many things. So stop just classifying this situation. Stop just I don't know, maybe some people get tired of, oh, I feel very good right now, I feel very good, but what he told me is really bad, I get angry at him, upset at him, what did he tell me, like, you get angry, and then you get happy, and then you get angry, and then you get happy, and then you get angry, and then you get happy, blah, 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 blah. And you're like ups and downs always. So the self is always experiencing, the self, you are always experiencing. So just ask the question, is this really is there really a reason for me to classify these moments, to fall into these moments, other than just accepting life is life? I mean, like, it's all good no matter what happens, it's all good. Just witnessing the ongoing, just experiencing and witnessing the ongoing, it's all good. I just wanted to make this video to remind you about the self, be aware of the self and experience the self. And then I want to maybe expand a little bit more. About the Moji and Sadhguru. The self can never be explained. The self can never be in a form. I mean, like, the self can never have a form. The self can only express itself in a form. I mean, like, while you're still a mind having human, like a mind having being, you will, I guess, you will never have a full understanding of who you actually are. The who you actually are can only be felt through experiences you are having, or the out of balanced energies you are having. I mean, like, the self, the self, if you go out of balance of yourself, you will feel really maybe depressed, maybe angry, maybe sad, or maybe disappointed. And those things will trigger you that there's something not wrong here. You may want to change something, you maybe want to have a different feeling or something. Those things become out of balance and tell you that you are out of alignment with your true natural self. And like, you have lowered or changed your energy away from your true natural self. So whatever happiness and joyful emotions or maybe feelings you're having, those tell you that you are becoming closer to the awareness of the self, or to the alignment with the self and higher energies. So this moment, which I will tell you and express you, is that the self can only be understood through variety of experiences, and it can be felt through variety of experiences. Nonetheless, it does not classify, you would say, who I am. I'm a higher density being that has wings or whatever. That's not who you are. That's a form you're classifying yourself. You're maybe orb like being that has incarnated from the source here. Well, that's not who you are. That's an expression you are having. I mean, like at that moment, that expression you are having. The true self is hidden always. It's just an observer. And when you do come to these higher realms, I mean, like closer to the source, you will have more understanding of who you actually are. But yet you're having, as Enrico was telling, you're in worlds that share experience. I mean, like worlds that have shared experiences. It means like experience worlds. No, maybe I'm telling. I think you understand, but basically the worlds there, you're gonna have an experience in it, in those. So it's a worlds where samsara, something is going on always. Something is going on. But through those experiences, you become more aware of the self, and you become more and more aware of the self. You become closer to your true self, to your true self, to your true self, and closer to your true self. And thus then maybe realizing the self, who you actually are. And one time I was sitting home and meditating and asked myself, who am I? I mean, like, who is observing this? And I had this feeling ever since I was born. I remember when I was born, I went through a tunnel. That's absolutely the first thing which I remember. I went through a tunnel, like a blue light, a tunnel inside the body. At that moment, I was like 1 year old, or maybe a little bit more, I don't know. And I remember myself opening eyes, and the first idea which I had was, all right, I'll be here for a while now. Like a little bit disappointed in this, and this is the absolute first thing which I remember. And although it was a little bit strange, but still remember it brightly. Still remember. So, and I asked myself, who the observer? Like, who am I? I remember talking with one of my friends. Him. I mean, like, I'm asking him. Ask yourself, who is the one that observes? You know, I've never watched any gurus. I never watched any meditation videos. I didn't even know about meditation at that point. And he said, well, yeah, I'm the brain, I'm the neurons, and the brain works and functions and something like that. I was like, yeah, okay. You just witness thought forms, explaining to yourself thought forms. But can you ask yourself, who witnessed it? Or who was listening or observing these thought forms? Just ask yourself more deeply this question. And he said, well, I don't understand. You just ask yourself, who was telling you, I don't understand? And he got a little bit confused, but then he told that he didn't sleep all night. He felt like there's a vacuum sucking him in a tunnel. And I told him the same. I felt like the same. I actually asked him some questions, and a tunnel opened, and I was like, okay, you ask who you really are, just come in through and I'll show you. I mean, like this. Or like a returnedness to the self. And it was a strange experience, although I told, no, I'm not ready. It was like out-of-body experience. And whoever of you have had the out-of-body experience will instantly be aware of the self. Instantly would be aware of the self. And I think that's one of the most important things to discuss. I mean, like, discuss to experience. And now, a couple of days ago, there was a friend telling me that he will now start doing seminars, etc., for meditation, etc. And the first thing that popped in my mind, sorry, not a friend. A friend told me, but the idea that popped in my mind was from different thing. That was from the emoji. Yeah, I listened to this emoji, and he is like directly pushing ordinary people into this topic. I mean, like, yeah, but he's like, well, there is. Well, he's like saying like this. There is this. I don't remember the words because I listened to just a couple of sentences of his. And he said that, hey, there is this observer who is always present, always there. And you inquire him, and like ask him, and he could never be sensed. He could never. You're telling, I am feeling good, and he's like, well, yeah, that's a lie. Who is this I that's telling I'm feeling good? And the self actually could never have a feeling, although I think the self really has feelings. See, the self can only experience, and it all comes through the pure energy from the realms. But also then those things are observed but truly felt in a much higher sensation than maybe telling and having joy when somebody gives me a gift or a present or something. So those spiritual energies are felt much enhanced. Anyways, so now he's. When I was listening to him, I was like, well, okay. Now imagine many ordinary people come there. Maybe some smoke weed, maybe some do some meditation. Maybe some of them are only there because they like Moji, and maybe some of them are also there because they have a huge depression and they're looking for answers. There's a variety of reasons why people are there. But in my case, in my opinion, there is full with random people. And Moji, well, in my opinion, has experienced the self-awakening or the self-awareness in a much deeper state that maybe because many people ask me to speak English, and maybe they have maybe he has an uplifted experience of the self-awakening. But maybe others don't. Maybe others are so locked in their minds, so locked in their opinions, so locked in their brain forms, thought forms, that they try to conceptualize what he is telling. I mean, like, they try to understand word to word what he's saying. Okay, the self, that there is some kind of a self, I must be thinking about some kind of a self, I must feel some kind of a self. He is always there, was and will be. And they try to conceptualize truly the mind. Oh, yeah, that's fine. Complete random. Universe is complete random. Like, duality expresses itself in all those thought forms and all those variety of expressions. So that's all good with that. And maybe some people are there because they like him, and the other audience are there confused or a little bit in depression. And when they become this knowledge of self-awareness, they can become so dizzy, so full with anxiety, and maybe stress as well, or maybe fear as well, that they are not ready to become self-aware. Because I remember when I started having these experiences, the body experience, when I was 18 years old, young maybe, that was really frustrating. It was really strange. It was really strange. I mean, like, you get confused and you get depressed, and then you get like, what the hell was that? I tended to be so locked in the mind, so locked in thought forms, that feeling that, hey, that's not who you are, you're completely different. I mean, like, just get out of the body and you will feel yourself. You'll get outside of the prison of the thought forms the mind is creating constantly. You'll get out of them, and then you will realize the self. But the most importantly, you will feel the self, and that's the hugest thing. When you become awakened or felt those things, you really start to change your point of view and concepts about the world. You really start to change the way you think. You really start to change the way you express. And I think many people are not ready to, or will be ready to experience that. And when I was listening to Moji, I was like, well, that was an old video. and maybe he has changed the way he speaks or approaches people, because I would say that's a little too rough. I guess the people, well, definitely he does meditation. I believe he does meditation. I believe he knows a lot. But I was like, that would be really a lot for many to grasp that deep, those information. I think people really need to learn to meditate and calm their mind to become like less stressful, less thinking, and to become more aware of the silence, and thus then of the observer who is witnessing the silence without any thoughts. So I think having a kind of self meditations and quietness meditation, no thought for meditation, is really pushing you safer and closer to self-realization, if it's necessary for you. I mean, if it's necessary. I meet people also who definitely need and have to experience, I would say, the physical life. I mean, like experience shopping, driving, enjoying, partying, etc. So they are dedicated to that type of experience. I mean, like they need to, they want to, and they do experience the life, let's say, from a physical and a complete physical point of view. And that's their soul's experience, that's their soul's joy, that's their soul's wish to be there and do that. So there's nothing bad with it. It's all good. So I mean, like, not all the people need that really. So yeah. And another thing, off topic about the self. I was about this wars that were the First World War, the Second World War. I remember when we channeled about the Germany, there was these questions about the wars, and I remember the information was that the Germans developed a cosmical project. They started cosmical traveling with alien beings. They made their agreements and etc. I have different videos of this. A long time ago I made them, and then they showed me that there, after the World War, Americans came in Germany. I mean, like in Europe, with their star. They showed a star, like tanks with a star. And uniforms with a star. I was like, what the heck is that? I never know that. I thought it was Americans stayed off. I mean, like the Americans stayed off of the war, and but it turned out that actually the Americans, after everybody was dead, the Americans went into Europe and established their own governmental system, or rather understood from the central banking system they established. So basically Europe is America, I would say. But not about that. Then I talked with my brother about this, and he told that the Germans went to Moscow and nearly took over Moscow as well. And then the Russians pushed all the way back to Germany. In my opinion, but when I was, in the physical matter of the world, the first thing that I think is statistics. I think about, I mean, like, imagine you're producing tanks and bullets and guns in Europe. I mean, let's say in Berlin. How much can you actually produce bullets and tanks? I mean, like, how much can you actually produce them? How long do you need to produce them, and how cost effective? I mean, like, how many troops, how many souls, how many people and tanks and resources you lose while pushing towards the territory? I mean, like, for example, it takes you around 2 months from Berlin to get to, let's say, Lithuania or Latvia. It takes you around 2 months going through the resistance. How many troops you lose, how many tanks you lose pushing through this? There should be an average statistics to it. And how long and how much time do you need to actually produce them before you run out of resources. I mean, like this statistical thinking. And then I was thinking also, okay, you go as far to the Moscow with the German soldiers. You go as far there, but then how much equipment you lose and people you lose, and then how much time you need to deliver this equipment, food, and new soldiers. How much equipment and time do you need? And actually, how do you motivate them to actually go to war without actually punishing them? Definitely punishing them is one of the biggest, I mean, like the most effective. So then you start thinking that actually it's all about resources and delivering resources, and the further you get to, let's say, Moscow from your production facilities, the longer time it takes to deliver those things there, and the longer the road, the higher risk you have that something in the middle of the road will blow up, especially in winter. Trucks get jammed, no bridges, you need to clear the roads, the railway is exploded, etc. So you need the time and resources even, and at some point it doesn't even make sense to actually go to the war. It's like highly cost effective, resource effective. So and that's what I think. And when we talk about these now ongoing things, vaccinations and everything, first thing I calculated is how many people have been sick with this, how many people can get sick of this, how much time you need to actually deliver and produce those medicines, or maybe they are produced already, and you start thinking about those things. Are they actually realistic? Is it real to even have or be this without even being prepared for that? So how much time do you have to prepare? And then I was thinking, well, of course that's business. Okay, that's business. Okay, that however it was and will be. And then I started thinking, well, but what happens like if it turns out that this vaccination part doesn't give any results? I mean, like that it's pointless to vaccinate against it. And listening to songs. Yeah, a song definitely can shift your personality, especially the meditative songs. The resonance in a way activate your self-beingness. And there were some other questions there. So then I calculated how much time you need, and then even if, because there are no vaccines and medicines against virus, there will never be. Vaccinations and medicines is for bacteria. So a virus is something that is 2,000 times smaller than a bacteria. Therefore, no antibiotics, no vaccination, no nothing can actually help that. So that's the first thing, and I think many people know that, especially specialists know that. Then I started to think about it, and then in the point, why are they pushing it so badly? Because I thought, because there's a huge business project, the next dose, the next dose, the next dose, the next dose, like a huge business project. And if it turns out that some part, let's say 50% of the society, are not having these doses and they are not getting ill, then all of the project is a failure. Because if all are vaccinated and a new variant or version arrives, then yeah, that's the new version of the same virus. New version. But if those people who do not get vaccinated, they don't have this virus, and all these people understood that those viruses came from the vaccines themselves. And so, especially in Latvia, they're pushing those so strongly and so badly. We need to stay at home, we need to do this, we need to do this. And in my opinion, they're pushing it so badly because they need to have at least majority so that they can disguise away those who have not vaccinated. So basically, a huge business project, a huge and let's say not pleasant business project must be established. So yeah, so then I started to do calculations. I know, I'm sorry, but I'm telling this in the video. Then I started to taking calculations. I'm not human anymore. Then I started to, when you start doing those statistical calculations, it all makes sense. I mean, like, those statistics tell you in front. When I was working with a project with the crypto trading platforms, it's all about statistics. It's all about statistics. You need to arrange and make statistics so they tell you many things in front. So they make the statistics tell you something. So yeah. So what I wanted to tell about this is that you and people like me and I myself can get lost in those informations. I mean, like, get lost in fears, in doubts, in anger maybe as well, or disappointment. But remember just that no matter what happens, the self is always aware, and the self doesn't classify whether it's good or bad. The self just experiences this condition as you condition it to be. I mean, like, you have the choice to condition this situation. For example, if there will be a war, or maybe there will be war, or maybe not, but if by any chance something bad will happen, there's no reason. I mean, like, there's no reason to worry. There's no reason to be stressful, because as soon as it's all over, as soon as this life is over, when Enrico told me once how I will die, it showed me that I become instantly, when I died and stepped out of my body, I got self-aware. Oh, this is how I die. Oh, now is my time to go home. Now, this is the way I died. It's my time to go now home. And you have like an unlockment of full understanding. Yeah, this is the time for me to go, and you understand why, when, and your choice. Why did you make those? You just instantly understand the unlocking information that was missing all the time you had while I was here. So basically, there's no even point of worrying, or can you imagine yourself telling you right now that you will enjoy the absolute worst scenario that can happen, that you will actually enjoy it the same way as joyful experiences, as happiness experiences, as enlightenment or higher bliss state feelings, that you will enjoy the sadness and the horror the same as positive energies. And when you can tell yourself that there's actually no point of worrying or being afraid or stressful, that there's no point of even paying attention to it. Just be yourself in the highest excitement as you can be. That's the true meaning of life. That's the true meaning of beingness. So why worry? Why paying attention to? Why feeling sad? Why feeling just enjoy? All right. So there were some couple of questions here. Manu Strom. When I was in a satsang emojis, it was awesome how the speaking from the heart spoke to everybody in the hall, and each of us, at least the ones I spoke to, received something necessary for us. Yeah, Manu, I like the way you, every time I meet you, I say, my life has been blessed. This day has been blessed by meeting you. So, I really appreciate it. Although I never know that you were in the satsang, so we can talk about this maybe sometime. Especially with Moji. So he continues. So basically, the work is that at the more sub plan, the words are just a surface from the mind to feast, but the process is going on under the surface. From where the questions arise from? Oh, okay. What I understand is that mind compresses and changes energy into signals. Those signals then translate into sensations and feelings, and those sensations and feelings unlock some kind of visionary concepts and visionary insights from the things we have seen before. So it's energy interpreted into signals, signals then interpreted into memory forms or visions that the mind has put it somewhere inside of us, or maybe signals that unlock higher density information. So basically, it's just energy being manipulated. So anyway, I think I've created a pretty long video right now, and I think I told those things which I wanted to tell. So anyway, if there are some questions, I'm open to communicating, and especially well, from where the questions arise. So I was like thinking a couple of times myself, well, the life itself is completely random. It's unpredictable. It means like you can drive there, and there, whatever you choose to drive. And in the same matter, it could be also that you imagine your brain is full of neurons, and each neuron consists of some kind of information or a memory. And at some point, energy can get there or there and went to a path completely randomistically shooting through all your neurons, creating a completely randomized images and memories. Then you would say you receive some kind of image, and then the self gets a little bit aware, what's going on, why is this image, and why is it going on like this, and then you start making questions. So basically I would say most of the time visions, memories are randomly indicated or inducted, I would say, by energy signals moving through your neurons. It can be also completely random as life is. Those memories also can be completely random. It's like, you know, in gambling houses there is this some like a device where you throw in the coin, and then coin down flips left, right, it flips left, right, but basically it flips into randomness positions. Maybe one time it flips left, maybe one time it flips right. So it flips randomly. So the idea is that these signals through your brain can also go through pretty randomly. So meaning in creating randomless ideas, randomless images, if you don't control them. Everything can be random because we predict things with formulas. Didn't quite understand, but I want to leave you with this video and just try to be more self-aware. So at the ending, the comparison I forgot to tell about the Sadhguru and Moji, just throughout the one video I watched, so I don't have a, like Manu was telling, he had the experience up close where he was present in the satsang, so I never had none of them. So I just continue my comparison between one and the other in the videos. The Sadhguru was talking about Samsara, about cycles that repeat. And this is because of that, and this is because of this, and this is because of that, and this is because of this. Creating concepts, like concepts and concepts. Moji was like instantly like, alright, who witnesses the idea of samsara? Who is the self-aware of the question? Where is he? And he's like not even much talking about concepts. Why should you talk about concepts? He's like directly, who are you? Where are you? And putting those people into like, look more closer into yourself. Look more deeper into yourself. Don't have this surface kind of a playground for the mind to wander about many ideas, wander about many concepts. release the mind, free the mind, and realize the inner true self that you truly and actually are. So have a good day and bye.